It is currently 12:40 a.m. So happy New Year's and 2021 and all that fun stuff. I feel like I've just had 3 gallons of caffeine, probably because I have consumed nothing but fortune cookies for the past 7 hours. I'm just gonna pretend I didn't see the time and keep working on this. YouTube does weird things to you, man, I swear. Alright, so believe it or not, we have yet another issue which is entirely caused by me just being ignorant while designing the frame. On the wheel hubs that I'm using from a Suzuki 250 quad runner quad, the distance between the two ball joint things is 7.5 inches here. But here, these are 10 inches apart. If the bottom A-arm is straight, the top one is going to be angled up a little bit, which is going to cause the hub to kind of do that. As it goes up, it's going to point out like that. Which is going to do 2 things. One, it's going to completely change the camber. It'll make it look super weird when the suspension compresses. And also it'll cause a lot of bump steer, which is terrible. So my solution to this is just to take another bar and add it about right there. And then I can just cut these pivot points off and move them down to this bar, which is also going to be 7.5 inches apart. So both A-arms will be parallel to each other so that this thing will stay perfectly straight up and down the entire travel of the suspension and should eliminate bump steer. Alright, so I somehow got my entire desk clean, and I know that's never going to happen again, so I decided to take this opportunity and work on the engine. Now this engine really doesn't need much. It's in very good condition as it is, considering it's 40 years old. But I looked into the exhaust ports, and it's just caked in carbon and everything, so I think it would be worth it to just take a day, take the whole top end apart, just give everything a really nice good clean, put it back all together, so then at least we know there's no problems and it's all clean. It should be working. I've got a bit of explaining to do, haven't I? It has been almost 5 months since I worked on the Buggy, and I have a couple good reasons for that. Number one being what I mentioned in the shifter cart video, and that's that I ran out of metal for this thing. I got it from the scraps pile at a local steel yard, and when I ran out of metal, I went back to get more, and they were out. They didn't have any more, and it was $50 for one section of brand new pipe, and I'm not paying 50 bucks for a piece of pipe. So I've been stuck on that. Second, this is the engine I was planning on using. It's a Honda XL500S, and it's a cool engine, but it's not suited for a buggy. It does not have electric start, it's kickstart only, plus it's really hard to kickstart that thing because of how enormous it is. 500 cc's, 1 cylinder. And it only makes about 35 horsepower in its current configuration. I think they're about 28 stock, but it will have straight pipes and a pod filter, so about 35 horsepower. And a buggy of this size, plus with the tubing I'm using, that's an 1/8 inch wall thickness, it would be slow as heck. Plus it'd just be stupid to have to get out and kick your buggy every time you want to start it. And I'd have to figure out some way to extend the Kickstarter out the side of it, because I can't just reach into it and kick it. So basically I just decided against using that engine, and I've been searching for a new one ever since. The budget for this entire thing is $1,000. Do you know how hard it is to find a decent engine for under $1,000? And it's $1,000 for the whole thing, not just an engine. So I'm having to find an engine that's in good condition, that's what I want, for $300 or less. it's very, very hard to find something like that, especially around here when everyone thinks everything that drives and isn't a car is worth its weight in gold. But I finally found something. I found something. Look at this. It's a Suzuki GS550. It's a 1979 model. It's perfect. It's a 4-cylinder electric start engine that makes a lot of power, but not so much power that I have to worry about snapping my axle every time I hit the gas. Chris from Rather Be Welding used a GS500, which is a 2-cylinder version of it, on his buggy, which ironically looks very similar to mine. So that's one issue solved. I have an engine now, and actually we're gonna go get that right in a second. But the second issue is the metal, and I'm still not really sure where I'm gonna get metal, but at least we have an engine that I can work on, get it running, and then we can take it out of the frame, and by then hopefully I'll figure out where to get some metal. So with all that being said, let's go get this motorcycle.
The wiring harness is a mess because somebody turned it into a rat rod. And then when I took the spark plug out of cylinder 1, it was like a mouse had made its house in there. But everything works, or at least everything wiring works, because really all it needs is probably just the cams and everything, and the heads ripped off and then cleaned out, and then the oil change, and then it should be good, because they had it running, I think it was a year and a half ago, and they just said that it ran rough, like it needed a tune.
At least it ran though. Alright, so we're home with the GS550E, and the main goal right now is going to be to get this engine running. I don't think it'll actually take that much to get it running, because supposedly the machine shop that the dude before me got it from had it running, and the issue is what I believe to be a rat's nest in cylinder number 1. It's really hard to explain. I'll show some footage here. There's like a packed clump of something in there, and that's causing it to not kick over. In the listing for this, it said that the electric starter motor would click but not turn it over, and that would explain why, because I can take off this cap and I can rotate it backwards, and then I can rotate it forwards until it hits that stop, and then you can't, like, won't kick over past there. So I just need to do a top end rebuild, just need to take it apart and clean it out basically. Kind of unfortunate, I'm going to have to reset the timing and everything like that, but it's going to be worth it. I just need to pull the engine out, pull the head off, clean it all out, put it back together, and theoretically, this thing should run. Cleaned up the piston and the cylinder head, and this is what I pulled out of it. This is disgusting. There's a lot of it on the floor too, so this isn't all of it. I definitely think there was some sort of mouse or something in here, because look at that big clump, like it's all stuck together. Like that's not just dirt, there's something else in there. But this is actually really good news, because I bought this bike thinking that there was an issue with the starter, it wasn't kicking it over, but it turned out that just the piston couldn't compress all this stuff in the top, so now it actually turns over freely. So it should work. So I just need to do a deep clean and actually get all this garbage out of here, and then inspect everything else, put it back together, put it back in the bike, and see if it runs. Turns over. So after a little bit of tuning, this thing actually runs surprisingly well, and I hooked up the chain and everything, so it should drive. So I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna go pick up my friend down the street, and we're gonna come back here. I'll throw on the GoPro and we'll see how it handles.
What? I just got it and I'm gonna sell it, so I was just taking some pictures of it. Yeah. Okay, see ya. Have a good day. I don't know how to turn it off.
Breaking news. In a very wild and very convenient turn of events, I found a dude on my local classifieds who had metal. I have metal now. I got all this stuff is the right metal that I need. It cost me $30 for like, I don't know how much this is, probably close to 50 feet of pipe, which should be all that I need to finish this buggy. And I also got a bunch of different sizes too, just in case we need some of that. But that's convenient because I just barely got this motorcycle running, and so now we can take the engine out of this permanently. Kind of sad, but you know, small price to pay for salvation. And then I have all this metal here that we can use to finish the buggy. I was like almost ready to go and buy brand new pipe, which like I said earlier is almost $50 for one piece, and this is way more than I would have gotten there for much cheaper. So that's perfect. So now we can get back to working on that. Now that I have metal, I'm sure all of you are just as anxious as I am to get working on this thing and actually complete the frame. I know it has been forever. I started this video wearing long pants, like snow pants and coats, and now it's so hot I'm gonna like go inside in 5 minutes and like stand inside a refrigerator. It's been a very long process to get this video out, but now that I actually have everything I need to continue, I'm gonna end this video here so you guys at least know what's going on, and then I will immediately start filming part 4, and we're just gonna get as much done as I possibly can in that video and get caught back up. Now, something I haven't really mentioned is that this project is a collaboration with Lincoln from Flaming Rays. His channel link is right up here in this corner. I really encourage you to go check him out. He's got some awesome videos, and he's building a buggy as well. We have made a rule sheet, and that will be linked first thing in the description. That's all the rules and everything we have to follow while building this thing. And then once we're done, we're gonna have a community vote and see whose buggy you guys like better. And then the winner of that, we don't know what they're gonna win, but there will be a winner just, I guess, for fun. But basically, his channel link is right up here in this corner. Again, I really encourage you to go check him out. He's very underrated, and I want to get him through 1,000 subscribers, and I know you guys can do that. Go check him out. His link will also be right underneath the rule sheet in the description. Go subscribe to him, watch some of his videos. Honestly, I think some of them are better than mine, which isn't saying a whole lot, but they're pretty good. I also got a car seat for this thing. It's from a Subaru Forester. I don't know if I'm going to use it, but I'm kind of liking the look of it, so I might try to kind of modify it and get it to work in here because it's a heck of a lot more comfortable than that other seat I was going to use, and I feel like I'm going to stay in this one more. I'm going to have a little less leg room because it's a little bit bigger, but I think it's worth it because it's a really comfortable seat. And it also will adjust, so people that aren't 6'2" can also ride this thing. But anyway, that's it for now. I'm gonna immediately, right after this, start working on part 4, and I'm gonna get that released as soon as I possibly can, because there are hundreds of thousands of you that are waiting on this project. At least we have the bottom A-arms on the front done. Next step is gonna be the top A-arms, because that's the simplest thing to do from here. Then the engine mounts, because I can take the engine out of that frame now, and then the engine cage, and that should be pretty much the frame finished. Then we'll focus on suspension. I'm really just rambling here, so thank you for watching and being patient with me while I'm trying to get this project done. Make sure you subscribe and hit the little bell notification next to it so when I upload part 4 and actually get some real work done on this thing, you'll be the first to watch that. I promise it's coming. I have not given up on this thing, and I never will. But if you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like and send it to some of your friends. Let them know what I'm doing. It's pretty cool. I also have a Patreon that I just barely started. If any of you guys feel like you want to support, it's really cheap and there's a lot of good benefits. That'll be linked in the description as well. If you want to go check that out, it's pretty cool. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in part 4.